Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining me and coming back for day 2 of the Streamline Your Tech Bootcamp. As always, I am Kat Milner, the Chief Tech Ninja of Simplify Your Tech, and I am delighted that you came back today because today is going to be freaking awesome. It's all about funnels. But before we jump into it, I just want to say good morning. Morning, Trish. Thank you for joining me this morning. And I just want to check in and say, how are you doing today? And from the questions in the waiting room, what are you grateful for today? And you're welcome to either drop it in the chat or unmute yourself since we're a small group this morning.
Grateful for a good night's sleep.
You know, that is not something to take for granted. I've had insomnia the last 2 nights. Yeah, for some reason I wake up around 3ish and don't go to sleep until like 5:30. It's like crazy. But anyway, that being said, we are going to have an amazing day today. Okay, I see Jesse's just joining, so we'll just wait a second for her. I don't know about you, Trish, but it's absolutely freezing in Adelaide this morning. And good morning, Jesse. Glad you could join us again today. We were just checking in and saying, what are you grateful for today?
Yeah, it's raining. Yeah, the rain.
I'm sorry?
Nice. The rain.
The rain. Okay, yeah, it rained here in Adelaide last night too. Okay, so before we jump into today's topic, I just wanted to check in and see how you went with the home play last night and if you had any questions about yesterday's information before we move into today.
I've forgotten what the home play was.
Filling out the more information on your ideal client niche and avatar.
Okay.
But the main thing is, are there any questions?
Do you have replays?
There will be replays, yes.
Okay, yeah, because Lisa's got another course on at the same time. So.
Yep, not a problem. Make sure you join the Facebook group because the replay links will be posted in there. And that's probably the easiest way to get it. Okay, so any other questions before we jump into today?
Can you put the Facebook group in again?
Sure. Give me 1 second and I will drop that in the Facebook group. There we go.
I can't remember whether I have or not.
What was that?
I can't remember whether I have or not.
Yep, not a problem. So there's the link to the Facebook group. Okay, cool. All right. Anything else before we move on? Fantastic. Okay, so today we're going to discuss funnels. Yesterday, it was all about the ideal client and who we are talking to. Because if we don't know who we're talking to, everything else is irrelevant. Nothing else matters. Because if you don't know who you're talking to, they're not going to know that you're talking to them. And any money that you spend on marketing or whatever is mostly just going to go into the ether. So today we're looking at what is the funnel? Why do we need them? The purpose of different kinds of funnels. And I'm going to actually ask you to raise your physical hand if you realize that there are multiple kinds of funnels. Did anybody not know that there's multiple kinds of funnels? Yeah. So sometimes that can be a little bit intimidating to know which kind to use, when to use them, what are they for. And we're also going to discuss the customer journey. Pardon me. And really exciting at the end to finish off the day is where your marketing is going to be the most effective, how you can really target the people who need to hear from you. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, so I don't know about you. Let me actually share my screen here. Oops. And there we go. All right. So I don't know about you, but funnels used to honestly confuse the heck out of me. They used to scare me a little bit because they always just seemed so complicated, really complicated, and really confusing. And then I sat down and said, okay, so what exactly is a funnel? And they are the means by which potential clients are guided through our process to become paying clients. And the honest truth is, it does not have to be that complicated. It actually can be that simple. So the process is really just a few steps. And if you let them do your heavy lifting, it's like having a team working behind you. And we're going to get into showing you how to make that really work. So there are different kinds of funnels. And the way the process works is, first, we get their interest. And this is usually accomplished by using things like social media and advertising. Then we develop the, pardon me, then we go into the lead magnet. And this is done through giveaways and low cost items. And you want to make sure that you use their specific language. You're not using a lot of jargon. You're not talking about the way that you understand it. You're looking at the way they understand things, because this shows that you truly understand their issues, and you're going to make it feel really personalized. And the goal here is not to sell them anything. The goal here is to begin a relationship, to influence them, to shift their beliefs about something, and to see that you can actually help them. It shows that you understand what they're going through, and that you understand what they need. And the point is to build trust with them. You've probably heard that know, like, and trust factor. That is what you're starting to build here. They're getting to know you. You want them to like you so that they'll start to trust you and understand that you can help them, so that eventually they will become clients. And it's not a manipulative thing. It really is for their best interest. So one of the big things about this is to follow through and deliver what you promise ASAP, as soon as possible. Make sure that they're on your email list, and make sure that they get that lead magnet like within 15 minutes. Automations are perfect to set up to deal with stuff like this, and we're going to talk about those tomorrow. And above all, make sure that that lead magnet has solid information, things that they can use and implement immediately, so that they're getting a little baby win. Now, you don't want to give them the whole process, obviously, in the lead magnet, because then they'd have no reason to buy your program. But if you give them one tiny little bit, and we're going to talk about lead magnets later in the week, so that you'll have ideas of what you can offer them. But if you just have that little bit of information that they can implement and see that what you tell them works, they're going to be so excited to want to learn more about working with you. And above all, and I've done this, or actually forgotten to do this, make sure you include your contact information on the lead magnet. You'd be surprised how many people will send things out. People will get really excited about it and then have no idea where to contact you. Because trust me, people do not keep those emails. They delete them, they file them, they get buried in the 8,000 other emails they might have. Don't make them go looking for you. Have everything they need right there. Awesome. Then the next one, excuse me. The next one is the consult funnel. And this is exactly like what you think it sounds like. This is getting them on a call with you. And this is often accomplished through either your lead magnets and that call to action, or through an email nurture sequence that you've been sending them over time. And the goal is to get them on that call with you, so that you can talk to them about the challenges that they're having, and find a way to be able to give them what they need. And the goal is to influence them to sign up for that call with you and to demonstrate the value of what you offer in such a way that they're going to want to either just sign up right then or learn more and be guided through the rest of the process. So when you're setting up the call, and if you have if you have a calendar booking system, which I highly recommend doing, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow as well, you want to have a description of what they're going to get in that call. You want to have a clear benefit that they're going to come away with by the end of the call. Now, I was working, actually, I'm going to stop sharing for a second because I want to talk to you about this. So I was talking to a coach and we were talking about this particular funnel, consult funnel. And I said to him, what is the goal of this call that they're going to have with you? Oh, for them to book in and buy my coaching. And I was like, okay, but what's the benefit? What's the point? What's the purpose of them getting on this call with you? To book my program? No. And we went through it about 5 times before he realized that he needed to shift that thinking to be able to say to the client, here's what you're going to come away with. Here's the benefit that you will have by the end of this call. And his particular consult was a free 30-minute coaching session so that they could see what he does, see how he does it, and see if the fit was right between the two of them. But he was so focused on what's in it for him that he didn't stop to think what was in it for the client. And it's like we said yesterday, my passion, my mission is to make sure that you get what you need so that you can be as successful or even more successful as you want to be. And then I know that if I focus on that, everything that I want is going to fall into place and I don't even have to think about it. But you see what I mean? So I'm curious if you've ever set up the consult funnel. You know what? I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand or anything because I don't want to embarrass anyone. But I am curious. It's like, did you start out that way, focusing on the client, or did you really start kind of thinking about what it is that are you focusing on what you need or what they need? Is really the question. Is it what they need, what you need? So you do want to have a clear call to action. You want to make sure that they know what their next step is. And that's really kind of the key thing here is make it simple, make it clear. It's like we were talking yesterday about the ideal client. You need to make it really specific as to who you're talking to. In this case, it's making it really specific what their step-by-step is to guide them through the process. Because if you try to throw too much of them at once, they're just going to get confused and go somewhere else. So you're probably going to link this consult call to your lead magnet. So it might be a review or 5 suggestions or 15-minute like guided meditation or a blueprint or whatever. Another thing that's a really great idea to have on hand when you do these consult calls is to have some social proof, have some testimonials from current or previous clients that have worked with you so they can talk about how awesome your services are and how great you are to work with. And, you can also be like, I'm now offering, a certain number of consults. So if you want to get in on this, book now, get that urgency in there. Okay. Then the next one is the sales process. And this is usually, sorry, I don't know what there we go. Okay. So this is the sales process kind of is the follow on. It starts with the consult call. It really begins with the lead magnet because that gets them kind of into the process. They go to the consult call and then they may need to see more information. And the goal is to influence them to purchase your program and your product or service or offer. It shows the big benefit of what they get from working with you. So that landing page, the sales page, which is very similar to a landing page, it has the information about the offer, the program, whatever it is that you're selling. Actually, would you mind just dropping in the chat? What is it that you're selling? Is it a big program? Is it an 8-week program? Is it an ongoing coaching thing? Is it a one-off thing? Just drop in the chat. What is it that you are selling? And if you don't know yet, that's okay too. Okay, Trish has a masterclass. Uta has an 8-week program with ongoing coaching, and Jesse has 8-week coaching workshop and course. Cool. Awesome. Excellent. And again, it's about that really big benefit. Make sure, actually, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Make sure that they know what the really big benefit is that they are supposed to get by the end of their time working with you. Even if it's ongoing, what is going to be kind of some of those milestones that they can expect to achieve? And you're speaking to a group of people who already know you. This is where the previous parts of this system come into play, is they now know you. They probably like you or they wouldn't be hanging around, and they're starting to really trust you at this point. And you want to put the detailed information on that landing page and really show them everything that they get, how they will benefit, put up the testimonials from people who have been transformed by your work and whose lives are just so much better. And the best part is you can put up the retail value of everything that you have and everything that you offer and what it's really worth, and then show them your actual price. And it becomes a no-brainer. And that's really part of the goal, is to really make that a no-brainer. Okay. And then, oops. And then we get what's called the FUF, the follow-up funnel. And this is for potential clients who are a good match for your work and have done things like downloaded your lead magnet, had that consult call, but for whatever reason, they didn't become a paying client. And what you want to do is keep them engaged with your content. You want to include things like emails with and make sure you put valuable tidbits of information in those emails, because you're showing that you continue to care about them and their challenge, and that you'll still be there when they are ready to move forward. Because that is something, and I can't emphasize this enough. This is something that's going to really set you apart from your competition. Because I'm going to put this on gallery view so that I can actually see you. And what I want you to do is drop in the chat an E if you've ever gotten onto someone's email list because maybe you downloaded their lead magnet and you weren't necessarily ready to buy at this point, and then you start getting the follow-up emails. Okay, that's fine. No problem with that. But all of those follow-up emails are, hey, you didn't buy this program. Here's a really good deal that I'm doing on the program. Here's something else that I have that you might want to buy. And almost pretty much every single email after that is them trying to sell you something. Drop an E in the chat if you've ever experienced that. Yeah, exactly. Okay, and drop an F in the chat if you find that really frustrating and annoying. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Now, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I've got an end of financial year special going on with this program. There's nothing wrong with that, but you don't want to do that. It's basically you want to maybe make a soft pitch offer which means that it's like, hey, I just thought you might like to know about this. I do have this thing going on, and I would love for you to take advantage of it because you did this other thing here. And I know you'd really get a lot out of it after our conversations. But you don't want to do that up front because nobody likes being sold to. Absolutely nobody likes being sold to. And it is really about creating that and maintaining that relationship. And if they get emails from you, say 4 or 5 emails over the course of 3 to 5 weeks, that is like, hey, because you downloaded my lead magnet, I think you might also like to know blah, blah, blah. Or if, here's this other document that I came up with that follows on from the other one that tells you this, this, and this. And you give them these little bits of information and things that'll help. And it's like, you just give them these really valuable tidbits. And then they're going to go, oh, okay, you're not going to bombard me with all of this other stuff. And then they're going to trust you a heck of a lot more. Okay, so of the funnels that we were using, the lead magnet consult, sales process, follow-up. So those are the 4 funnels. How many of those do you think that you've been using actively in your business? Just drop a number in the chat. All right, Jesse's like, none. Okay, fair enough. Trish says 2 of them, and Uta says 2 of them. Okay, awesome. So drop a Y in the chat if there are, if the funnels that we just covered, the lead magnet consult, sales, and follow-up, are there any of those that you actually didn't know about? Drop a yes or a no in the chat if there's any of those that you did not know about, or maybe just didn't know how to use. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And drop a drop a W in the chat if you would like to have a one-on-one session with me to build out your funnel system. Jesse says, no, it's just too complicated. Okay. But yeah, yes or no, would you like to spend an hour with me working on your funnels? Yeah. Cool. Okay. So any questions on the funnels before we start looking at moving into the client journey? Just raise your hand if you have any questions. Nope. I have bought the funnels CRM, but a lot of the stuff, and Jesse says, I'm glad, where is it? I have bought the funnel CRM. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but get lost. And I'm really glad that you said that, Jesse, because the truth is there are a lot of things out there, technology platforms, and it is confusing and it can get overwhelming. And you're going to love me tomorrow when you come and we talk about technology and how to make it really simple. Pardon me. Trish says it sounds like it could be simplified, which is the name of your tech. Yeah, there's a reason why I call my business Simplify Your Tech. There is a reason for that. And Uta says, yes, I've been reluctant to start because it seems confusing. And that's the thing, is everybody makes it so complicated. And the honest truth is it really doesn't have to be. And oh, all right. I just realized that I forgot to update one of the slides. So that's okay. I am going to do that. And we're going to share the screen again. Okay, cool. All right. So now we're going to start talking about the target market, which is also known as the client journey. Okay. And this is, well, we'll just go ahead and go into, oh, there we go. All right. So at the bottom of the pyramid, are the people who know they're not interested. These people don't want to know about you. They have no interest in what you offer. They're just, yeah, they don't want to know. They don't want to know about it. The next section doesn't think they're interested, but they honestly don't know enough to really make any kind of difference. The next group is not even thinking about it. They're just off doing whatever, and they are struggling. They know they're struggling, but they're not even thinking about doing anything about it at this point. And that's 90% of the people out there. Thanks, Annie. Of the people out there. Now, as we start getting closer to the top, we get 6% that is actually open to it. They're kind of thinking about it. They've been thinking about looking into it and maybe finding some options. And then the top 3%, that cream of the crop, are the ones that are ready to buy now. They're actively looking for it. They're seeking out someone just like you. And what we don't realize is that the people that are ready to buy now are only 3% of a much larger picture. Yet 90% of people focus all of their energy trying to get that 3% of those people that are ready to buy now. Now, I'm not saying don't go for it. Those ones are a gift. Those are the clients that are an absolute gift, or they just kind of drop into your lap. Excuse me. But let's really look at it logistically. The 30% who know they're not interested, just ignore them, cross them off your list, don't even think about it. Because all you're going to get is frustrated and angry that every time you contact one of them, they get really rude. These are the people that wear you down and make you want to quit because you think everybody sucks. Okay? Now, this is where the magic happens. This is where you want to focus, is on that 66% in the middle. Because the top 3% are going to come and find you anyway. If they're looking for you and they want what you do, they will find you. As long as your marketing and your message is clear that they're the ones you want to help. That's where everything that we did yesterday really comes into play. So copy is your key, especially in that middle 66%, because what you put in your copy is what's going to really make that difference. It's how they're going to recognize themselves in you. It's how they're going to see what they need in what you offer. And they're going to see that you have organized your knowledge in such a way that it's easy for them to understand, that they want to engage with it. Because as one of my mentors says, people do not buy solutions, they buy organized knowledge. And they want to know that you know your stuff. Any questions on that customer journey? We went through it a little bit quickly, so I just want to see if there's any questions on that. Hi, Oliver. My dog just came in to lay down in front of the electric fire in my office because it's the warmest place in the house. Okay, so I want to ask some questions, and I'd really love to have a little bit of a discussion about this. And because we're a small group, I'll welcome you to raise your hand, and I'm happy to unmute you. The first question I want to ask is, how do you feel about sales? What comes to mind, or what feeling comes up in your body when I say sales? Anybody want to have a conversation about that? Okay, Jesse, unmute yourself if you would.
Yeah, I love what you said. Organized knowledge, not solutions.
Yep.
So I think that's the key.
You know, it really is. But Mike, okay, and what happens in your body when I say that you need to sell?
I feel I'm no good at, because I can hear stuff that I need to say to people, but to be able to say it back, this doesn't happen.
Okay. So sales makes you uncomfortable? Yep. And why do you feel that way?
I guess I don't feel good enough or that I'm qualified or whatever. I've
Okay.
done heaps of work on that and that still I haven't figured
Yep.
that out yet.
That is probably the number one hardest thing to overcome, is feeling like you have a right to be doing what you're doing. Absolutely.
I can talk about it. I can get a picture there, but to be able to actually go through the rest of the process.
Yep. Asking for the sale, closing the sale is the hardest part. So let me ask you this. What needs to change in order for you to feel comfortable to ask for the sale?
I think just what you said about the organized knowledge, so that you actually know that it's there.
Yep.
And I think that's the part that I've been missing as well.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Jesse, for being willing to step up and be open and vulnerable. I really appreciate that. Let's put a little bit of love up on the screen for Jesse. Let me find there we go. That's awesome. Ute or Trish, did you want to add anything?
Sure, I have sales. Still not my favorite thing.
Why do you think it's not your favorite thing?
Yeah, obviously it's something to do with my mindset around background stuff. But Jesse said a little bit that I'm not organized enough maybe sometimes to actually know what to say and how to the benefits, especially, and being confident that I can actually deliver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is, I know I can, but it's having that there at the moment and knowing how to put it, that's probably the issue. And and sales issues around money and asking for money is, but I'm at it.
Yeah.
This takes a while.
I don't know, every time I think about, or I used to think about sales and asking for the sale and talking about money. Have you ever seen that movie Cabaret with Liza Minnelli and Joel Grey? Back from the 80s. So every time I think about asking for the sale, I see Joel Grey in my head, and he does that kind of leering look at the camera going, money makes the together. And it just, to me, that's kind of like that whole process. Trish, did you want to add anything? Okay. Cool. Awesome. But Uta, you brought up a really good point, and I don't want to go forward before I address that, which is you mentioned the word benefit. And this is the thing. If you focus on the benefit of what you offer, it changes everything. And you hear it said, and it's kind of one of those phrases that's also almost, you don't hear it anymore because it's been said so much, that sales is service. Okay. And I used to get terrified of it. I used to hate asking for the sale. I could talk about what I do and how it will help you and show you the benefits of it till the cows came home. But the actual asking for the money really used to intimidate me. And then I had a paradigm shift. And I'm not sure what did it for me, but there was one day that I realized that what I do can truly transform lives, and it can actually change the world. What I do, what I'm telling you about, what we're really going to get into tomorrow, changes the world because I support coaches, and coaches change the world. So, and it hit me one day that by not asking for the sale and not putting myself in a position to be able to help people and help coaches specifically, I'm actually doing them and their clients and everyone that comes, that they have that ripple effect with, I'm doing all of them a disservice, and I'm actually hurting them. And when I had that shift, it was like, whoa, okay, I can do this because they need me. They really need me, and the world needs me. And it's still sometimes a little challenging, but overall, it's actually become fun because when people sign up, it's not about the sale. I get really excited because I know their world is about to change, and change drastically for the better. And that to me is wicked exciting. That's why I happy dance. So, okay. So awesome. Thank you for sharing, everybody. I really appreciate that. All right. So what we want to do is, as we go into that whole sales process, we want to relate in a way that makes you feel like a friend. Okay. It's about developing trust and making them feel like they're talking to a friend and not a salesperson. And this is why, through that whole customer journey, it's all about building relationship. It is not about sales, it's about relationship, because when they feel comfortable with you, they feel like you're actually becoming a friend, and they're going to be more open and comfortable with you. And honestly, the process is a lot more enjoyable for both you and your client. Oops. And oh yeah, which I was just saying. So how differently, and I'd love for you to drop this in the chat actually. How different would you be? How differently would you talk to someone if you who is not looking, who's that bottom 30% of that middle section, who's not looking but might be interested and is ready to, versus somebody who's actually ready to buy now? Oh, okay. So somebody that you're friendly with, that you think might be interested, that you're building that relationship versus just asking for the sale. I love my little used car salesman. Hi, Demi. Glad you could make it this morning. We're talking about all things funnels.
Sorry,
and so looking at the process, some people go through that entire process. They see like your social media, and then they're like, okay, they download the lead magnet, they jump on a call with you, you send them to the sales page, and eventually they become a paying client. Others might join somewhere in that process, depending on where they are in their journey. And it really doesn't matter where they come in, because you are building a relationship with them. You are focused on getting to know them, on understanding where they are, as they say, joining the conversation that's going on in their head. So it's not about, and I'm going to go back to my little used car salesman guy there, because we're not just pushing a product, we're creating that relationship. And you're really focusing on that middle 66%. You're putting, because like I said, that top 3%, they're going to find you no matter what. So you now know where to focus your marketing. You want to speak in their language. Join that conversation that's going on in their head, meet them where they are. All of these things really ring true for this, because they need you and they need to know that you understand. And as we said in the beginning, when you let your funnels do your heavy lifting, it's like there's an entire team working behind you. Because when the system works, and it does, you get to focus on that work that you love and have a steady stream of new clients, because you're putting things in place, you're putting solid information out there, you have a clear pathway that shows them how to get exactly what they need and want. And you're them, and you have it set up very clearly, so they know how to do things. And that's going to set you apart as well, because so many people out there do not have a clear pathway. And that's one of the, and you've got that follow-up where you're nurturing them, you're continuing to give them value, and occasionally saying, if you're ready, I'd love to talk to you about moving this forward and really taking, really making that transformation for you. Okay, so that is pretty much what I had for today. And I would love to get your highlights about something that maybe stood out for you today, that you really enjoyed today, or even just want to have a little conversation about. Okay, don't everybody talk at once. Yes, Jesse.
Yeah, just the whole way that you put it. Plus, yeah, I think the real thing is that organized knowledge, not the solutions. So But yeah, the whole lot was good. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else want to unmute? Trish, Uta, Demi, I know you just joined us. Yes, Uta. Did you have a comment that you wanted to make, Uta?
Yeah, just every time I listen to funnels and stuff, it's like, yeah, it becomes a little bit more clear. It's relatively simple, really. It's just that people seem to make it more complicated than it actually is.
Absolutely, 100%. And this is the thing that, because I've seen and worked with a number of business coaches and a lot more that I chose not to work with. And the ones that I chose not to work with, sometimes I think they make it overcomplicated so that they'll think people, oh, well, I need to work with them because this is just too complicated for me. And they overwhelm people. And it's like, it really doesn't have to be that difficult. It's like with the business technology. A lot of things around business tech are intimidating. Technology itself can be intimidating. Some people are very tech savvy, some people are very tech phobic, and most of us are somewhere in between. And I have found over the last few years working with coaches and other clients that the more simple that I make it and show them that they can do it, the more they want to work with me, because for the first time, I've lost track of how many times I have had a client say to me when we do a tech review and say, okay, here's what you're using, here's what's not really working, here's what is working, and here's how we can make it better. And these are the steps that we will take to make that better. At the end of that consult, I've lost track how many of them just look at me and go, oh, I finally can sleep tonight because now I know it's going to be okay, because they understand it and they know it's simple. It really just doesn't have to be that hard, especially funnels. That's the one thing you definitely don't want to complicate. And it's the same thing with the program that you're putting out there to help your clients. You want it to be simple, clear, step by step, how they're going. This is where you're starting. Here's where you want to end up. And these are the steps that you need to take that I'm going to guide you through so that you don't have to feel alone, and you're going to get to that. And I can get you to that result because I've done it for tons of other people. Yeah. Awesome. Is there anything else you wanted to add to that, Uta? Okay. Trish, did you want to add anything? Awesome. Okay. So let me just put my little thing back up here. Okay. So our home play and action steps are using the Bootcamp Day 2 playbook. And Uta, if you wouldn't mind dropping the link in there again, please. Awesome. Boy, you're just all on top of it. What we want you to do is to create a description of what you want in your lead funnel, consult funnel, sales funnel, follow-up funnel. And I'd love it if you would drop what you write and what you decide you want in with the Facebook group. And for those on the recording, here's the link to the playbook. Okay, so I'm just going to ask if there are any questions or any last comments about today. Right, everybody seems good. Awesome. So I'm just going to wrap up the official recording by saying thank you so much for joining me for day 2 of the Streamline Your Tech Bootcamp. And you're going to want to make sure to be here tomorrow, because we are talking about everything tech. We're going to really start getting into the streamlining of your technology. We're going to be talking about what it is you actually need, how much it costs, the true cost of do it yourself, which we all do because we think it's going to save us money. And you might be surprised at that answer. the power of integration, and all of these really exciting tech things. So the whole reason that you signed up is all about tomorrow. So I cannot wait to see you then.